Monsieur, does this mean Overwatch is back?
No.
Yeah, we are so excited.
If you've watched my content, especially my other Overwatch videos, you might come away from them thinking that I hate Overwatch, and I honestly couldn't blame you for thinking that. But I've only been so vocally disapproving of Overwatch 2 because I thought Blizzard could turn the ship around and bring Overwatch back. But time and time again, Blizzard has proved me wrong that being an Overwatch fan is about the same feeling as being repeatedly kicked in the balls, and making me feel like a fool for ever believing they could change Overwatch for the better. To the uninformed, Blizzard has announced that the PvE story campaign of Overwatch 2, the reason that there is even a 2 at the end of the name Overwatch 2, has been scrapped. Keep in mind, Blizzard has been hyping this up since 2019, and it's been in development for much longer than that, and they just scrapped it. You know that moment in Breaking Bad where Skyler is like, I gave the PvE to Ted, and Walter goes, that's me right now. This is me! It's like a cycle where I go from thinking the situation is hilarious, to being sad that the PvE I was hyped for is scrapped, to being angry at Blizzard for misleading me for years. And in order for you to see why this is such a gargantuan deal, I should give you a brief rundown of the situation from the start. Overwatch 2 was announced at BlizzCon 2019, conveniently right after Blizzard got in hot water over Hong Kong. God blessed American hero Jeff Kaplan gets on stage and announces Overwatch 2. He states that Overwatch 2 is going to be a massive replayable co-op campaign with skill trees and long-term progression. And there will also be PvP content on the side, like a new game mode called Push. At this point, Overwatch 2 was the PvE. The campaign was the entire draw of the sequel. Blizzard abandoned Overwatch 1 and left players in a limbo state for 3 years without updates so they could work on this campaign. And in 2022, Blizzard shifted the goalposts on the fans. They said that since Overwatch had been abandoned and they were hard at work on the campaign, they just dropped the PvP content early to tide over fans while they wait for the campaign. And what Blizzard dropped that October was a broken, unfinished cash grab that was a slap in the face of everyone who waited 3 years for this content. They removed key features, they removed more maps than they added, they ruined the progression of the game, and removed all of the free content to make way for a microtransaction shop and a goddamn battle pass, and everyone hated it. But if they just released this PvE campaign, it'll have all been worth the wait. But a couple days ago, Blizzard shifted the goalposts again. The Overwatch YouTube channel uploaded a dev talk stream, and after 30 minutes of talking about a side mode that nobody cares about, they drop this bombshell.
With everything we've learned about what it takes to operate this game at the level that you deserve, it's clear that we can't deliver on that original vision for PvE that was shown in 2019. What that means is that we won't be delivering that dedicated hero mode with talent trees, that long-term power progression. Those things just aren't in our plans anymore.
They canceled everything about the PvE that people were excited for. No replayability, no long-term progression, and no skill trees or build making. They announced this massive change in a random live stream to try and minimize the impact. And in a true full circle moment, the day after the huge PR disaster this caused, they announced BlizzCon to try and divert the attention. Blizzard has just finessed the fan base so hard. Overwatch 2 was supposed to be the PvE. They have been developing this for over 4 years, abandoned the game for 3 years, and just scrapped all the hard work they put in anyway. Now, first and foremost, I want to say that I don't blame the developers. I don't even blame Aaron Keller and his Jimmy Neutron haircut. If there's anyone who has even more of a right to be outraged at Blizzard than us fans, it's the developers who had years' work of hard work poured down the drain because it couldn't sell enough battle passes. This whole blunder was 1001% the fault of upper management in corporate suits trying to meddle with Overwatch. But the part that outrages me the most is how Blizzard as a company straight up lied about the campaign for years. They lied during the launch of the PvP, saying the campaign was coming this year, because if players knew back then that the PvE wasn't coming, they wouldn't buy the overpriced ass skins. They only dropped the news after Blizzard had already gotten the bag. Now, Blizzard defenders are stating that the PvE isn't completely scrap, as they're releasing PvE missions as seasonal events. But without the campaign, without the leveling up, and without the build making, it lacks any depth to give it any replay value. Overwatch has had PvE for years just like it, and there's nothing to separate that old content from the new content. Now, there's the terrifyingly realistic possibility that Blizzard is still gonna monetize whatever skeletal remains of the PvE they're going to still put in the game. The entire justification for the 2 at the end of Overwatch 2 is gone! All we got was a cash grab update to the main game! Even the content not attached to the PvE we were promised never made it into the game. We have yet to receive news on what happened to the weapon inspect animations, placeable flags, hand emotes, the missing maps shown in the trailers, the dynamic weather system, and so much more. The game is so strapped for new content, it's gotten to the point where Blizzard is bringing back old features from Overwatch 1 and labeling it as new content for Overwatch 2. If Blizzard hasn't been working on the PvE and can't do something as simple as make inspect animations for each character, then what the hell have they been doing for 4 years? Because even discounting the missing content, Overwatch is still a hot mess. Blizzard has no idea how to balance this game. Blizzard has made the leap from 6v6 to 5v5, and even months after launch, they still have no idea how to balance the heroes around it. You have a hero like Doomfist, who was borderline unplayable at launch. If you had a Doomfist on your team, you lost. Blizzard sees this and buffs them into the stratosphere, making them meta overnight, only to nerf them and make them useless again a week later. Or take a hero like Roadhog, whose entire character is based upon the fact he can pull out of position light characters and kill them in one shot. His one shot was limited to a short range and punished a character's bad positioning. But Blizzard deemed Roadhog's ability to one-shot characters overpowered and took it away and nerfed Roadhog to the bottom of every tier list. However, a character like Widowmaker is perfectly fine according to Blizzard. Unlike Roadhog, whose one-shot is limited to a small range and punishes subpar positioning in relation to Roadhog, Widowmaker is hit scan with no damage falloff, which means the whole fucking map is bad positioning. Maps with long sightlines like Havana and Junkertown are borderline unplayable and turn into a horror game if the enemy team goes Widowmaker. Because if the Widowmaker is good enough, even the characters that counter Widowmaker can't even get close enough to pressure the Widowmaker. So Blizzard, are one-shots against the game's philosophy or not? Make up your mind. I don't know, Aaron, what do you think?
Yeah, we are so excited.
Look, if I was to sit here and talk about how Blizzard has failed to balance every hero, I would actually just be here for hours. But it's not just the heroes that are poorly balanced. In Overwatch 1, Smurfing was a massive problem, and Blizzard was doing nothing to combat it because they were making a lot of revenue off of people who were making Smurf accounts. What's worse is the biggest Overwatch content creators are making these dumbass unranked to Grandmaster videos, openly encouraging people to Smurf and roll new players. No one who is new to Overwatch is going to enjoy playing a game with a competitive system where they are rolled by someone playing way outside of their rank for the express purpose of bullying them. The only system Blizzard has put in place to prevent smurfing in Overwatch 2 is necessitating you to give Blizzard your phone plan, limiting accounts to one person per phone. However, making owning a phone a requirement to play a fucking free-to-play game is the most pathetic thing I have ever seen in my life. Poor people don't own phones, and poor people can't buy battle passes. Might as well weed them out early, Blizzard. Eventually, Blizzard wisened up and removed the phone requirement, but they also opened the floodgate of Smurfs back into Overwatch. All the content creators are back to making the unranked to GM videos, and matchmaking is once more filled with Smurfs ruining lower level lobbies. And on top of this, the matchmaking itself is also terrible. Blizzard has removed ELO, so instead of seeing exactly what your SR rank is after each match, you are left in limbo until you finish 7 games. Even if you win vastly more games than you lose, you can still D-rank for no reason at all. And on top of this, you can't see the ranks of other people in the server. Blizzard has been placing players of widely different skill levels into the same match and considering it balanced. And players can't even know what rank the other players are. There is absolutely no feedback in the new competitive system, and the matches are just as stomp-heavy and unbalanced as Overwatch 1. In between games, Blizzard has made the matchmaking worse. It's absolutely embarrassing. So if Blizzard scrapped the PvE and ruined the matchmaking to work on the gameplay, why after 7 months is it still a buggy disaster? In just one recent patch, a bug was discovered that allowed Sigma to infinitely fly in a match like he entered Minecraft creative mode. Kiriko's teleport has a chance to fail when it shouldn't, and Doomfist's block ability is bugged and doesn't work right either. In just one patch. Overwatch used to have an experimental game mode feature and a PTR in Overwatch 1 to playtest patches. But with that system gone, there is no way for Blizzard to playtest, so they just force updates into the game, bugs and all. In fact, there's a bug in the game right now that when joining a server, there's a chance for it to fail, and you get banned from competitive play and receive an automatic loss to your rank through no fault of your own. Blizzard also can't even make up their mind on what even is a bug. A unique feature of Ashe's ultimate ability was that while active, she could build charge for her next ultimate. Overwatch 2 rolls around, and oh boy, suddenly this simple feature of her kit is actually a bug and is thus removed, while actual game-breaking bugs still run rampant. And even without the bugs, the gameplay that Blizzard swears they've been prioritizing is dying out. Due to the aforementioned shit balancing, Overwatch has run into the same boring metas that made Overwatch 1 such a slog to play. Junker Queen has been super buffed to the point where at the moment they're the only viable tank, with new tank Ramatra in a close second. And if you've noticed, these are 2 heroes that are locked behind a paywall. Yes, as of right now, every paid hero in Overwatch is meta right now except the new hero Lifeweaver. During the launch of Overwatch 2, Blizzard justified locking heroes behind a battle pass by saying that they were trying to remove hard counters to make the game less defined by one meta. But as of right now, Blizzard has stopped trying to hide it and made all of the paid characters the most viable. Kiriko has been an essential pick since day 1, Sojourn is still an essential DPS, Junker Queen has been super buffed, Ramatra has been made the second best tank, and Lifeweaver is actually really bad. But despite that one exception, Overwatch 2 is straight up pay to win. You could be in a competitive match where your tank needs to pick Junker Queen to counter the enemy team, but they don't have Junker Queen unlocked, so you just have to play at a massive disadvantage. In Overwatch 1, all players had equal access to every character because it's why you paid for the game. Now, you could lose a game entirely due to circumstances out of your control because your teammate didn't buy the fucking battle pass that season. This horrid monetization extends past the game being pay to win. The cosmetics in Overwatch 2 are still hideously overpriced. Take this skin for example. It's a slight recoloring of the default Moira model with a mime hat. Guess how much it costs? No, I'm not joking. Type in the comments how much you think it costs because I need to have a good laugh right now. Because if you guessed $20 fucking dollars, you must have a pretty good grasp on modern gaming. As another example, every week Overwatch gives you challenges that when completed give you the in-game currency. And from the time the game launched until just now, if you completed every weekly challenge without missing a beat, you could just now barely afford one legendary skin because it takes 32 weeks of constant grinding to afford one legendary skin in a game with 37 heroes. Okay, here's a little hypothetical scenario for you. Okay, say that you're 20 years old right now, and you're a really big Overwatch fan, but you're a bit strapped for cash, and you want to get just one legendary skin for all 37 of the current heroes in the game right now, using only the free weekly tokens. Well, If you complete every weekly challenge without missing a single one, you'll be able to afford one legendary skin for each character when you're 45 years old. Holy shit! The game gives you a pitiful amount of coins. All the good heroes are locked behind a battle pass, and every week the shop refreshes with new skins. Everything about this game is designed to piss you off so that you buy skins from the shop. Blizzard has taken Overwatch 1, a game with no advantages for spending money, plenty of free rewards, a steady stream of new content, abandoned it for 3 years with the promise of a PvE campaign, and turned it into a game that pisses you off in order to spend money.
I'll say you have.
SpongeBob?
How could you, Mr. Krabs? You promised these children a story mode, but all I saw out there was $20 skins.
Hey, I ain't cheap.
Overwatch 2 added new heroes and new maps, but if Overwatch 1 was not abandoned for the PvE campaign, we would have received those anyway. Now that the main justification for Overwatch 2 is cancelled, the only major addition was adding a shop and a seasonal battle pass. In return, the fans got a broken matchmaker, buggy gameplay that is worse than the original, a shitty monetization scheme, removed quality of life features from the first game, and endless lies from the company in charge. And if you still don't believe me that Overwatch 2 was a complete and utter scam, then let me play you the official Overwatch 2 trailer, but I cut all of the footage of content that didn't make it into the game.
We're being overrun.
Do not worry, I will push it. Okay, other direction. I am good at pushing things.
Sojourn here.
I think it's super exciting.
I am shocked and disgusted by how Blizzard treated Overwatch. The game went from being a smash hit that made $1 billion in a year to being the laughingstock of the gaming community. For years, I thought Blizzard could turn this ship around and prove me wrong about Overwatch 2. But that's not the case. Players are uninstalling en masse, the Overwatch League is dying, and even the pro players are pushing back against Blizzard. And all that's left is a skeleton crew trying to salvage what's left. But it's too late to turn the ship around now, Blizzard. You had your chance and you lost it. It's fucking done. Overwatch 2 is dead. But believe it or not, Blizzard has just announced Overwatch 3, baby! Okay, now hear me out. It's a lot like Overwatch 2, but they changed Bastion's name to Dylan. Oh, okay, but guys, they finally gave Sigma some shoes, baby! Let's hear it! Woo, woo, woo.